People look at YouTubers as the authority figures on natural hair because YouTube and the blogs are the reason that the natural hair movement exists. They were hoping it was a trend. They were hoping it was a fad that was going to die out very soon, because if they go natural, who's going to buy our relaxers? Hey y'all, it's Jayla aka JaiChanellie on the internet. Welcome back to my channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join all 21,000 of us over here. It's been a while since we did a chit chat, get ready with me, and this is a very important topic, so let's get right into it. Now, if you're new to my chit chat, get rid of me. Hey girl, I'll leave you an entire playlist above so you can go ahead and check up on what we've been talking about. But these chit chat get rid of me's are about the conversation, not about the makeup. But if you are interested in the makeup, make sure you check that description box below. I'll leave all the products linked down there. Okay, so the reason I wanted to have this conversation is because I've been seeing a lot of chatter, a lot of discourse about the natural hair community, natural hair movement, and why a lot of people are choosing to go back to relaxed hair. Let me give you a little bit of background about me and my experience with the natural hair movement and the natural hair community before we get into the convo. If you don't already know, I've been natural since 2009. That is when I got my last relaxer. I was a freshman in high school. I big chopped in 2012 as a rising senior in high school, and your girl has been natural ever since. So I'm a good, 13 years in the game at this point. As I was going natural, preparing myself to transition, and then of course flourishing as a natural, I was very much tuned in to YouTube University, which is one of the pioneering sources of media for this iteration of the natural hair movement. And I say this iteration of the natural hair movement because we gotta remember that natural hair is not a new thing. Natural hair movements are not a new thing. 60s and 70s, black people were sporting an afro. That is a natural hair movement. When you have a collective people coming together saying, this is how we're gonna wear our hair because this is how we want to be identified, this is how we want to be portrayed, this is how we want to be represented, and people follow that trend, that is a movement. So the idea of a natural hair movement is not new. The online social media presence was a defining quality or characteristic of this new current natural hair movement, okay? And in this current natural hair movement, we really saw a focus on stepping away from relaxers and styling your hair in natural hair styles that were not locks, for example, and that was not just a straight afro. So we saw hairstyles like the twist outs and the braid outs become very popular. We saw hairstyles like the wash and go become very popular. So I've heard a lot of people say the natural hair community has failed, and I want to talk about those sentiments as well as why people say the natural hair community is toxic, because points are being made, okay? Points are being made. So firstly, why do people say the natural hair movement has failed? These are the things that I've heard. The people who have been able to commodify the natural hair movement the most, the people who have been able to commercialize the natural hair movement the most, the people who have made the most money, light skin, loose curls, type 3. When you look at YouTube and who's showing up on your YouTube feed and who's getting the majority of the views, when you look at your TikTok For You page and people whose videos are blowing up when they're making natural hair videos, yeah. When you see even the expansion of the natural hair movement leaving the black community and encouraging other races and other ethnicities to embrace their natural hair, oh, now all of a sudden people are getting brand deals. I 100% agree that we have not seen the uplifting of type 4, specifically 4C hair, as we should have if that's what the whole movement was created to do. Or if we were creating this whole movement to deconstruct Eurocentric standards of beauty, only to go ahead and reinforce those, points were definitely made in that regard. The reason we saw type 3 hair being cemented and solidified as the standard for the natural hair community and for the natural hair movement was not because of people, it was because of brands, companies, and corporations. And I need us to acknowledge that when we are speaking of the natural hair movement, which are really groups of black women. So I need us to acknowledge some of these things when we're speaking on black women and speaking down on black women who pioneered this movement. I know for a fact that in 2009, I could walk into any drugstore and not find a single product that was dedicated to natural hair. Now, we always had the products that were on the shelves for black hair specifically, like pink lotion, like the Blue Magic. Those have always been on the shelves, and yes, we absolutely have used these on our natural hair before. But these products that were targeted towards natural hair, like leave-in conditioners, like the curl smoothies and the coil custards, those products did not exist. I'm telling you, as a 14-year-old who walked into the Walmarts, the Walgreens, the CVS's, looking for products for my natural hair, and I could find nothing. Even though the natural hair movement had already gained traction, companies very intentionally ignored this new movement. They were hoping it was a trend. They were hoping it was a fad that was going to die out very soon, because if they go natural, who's going to buy our relaxers? They finally gave in to the fact that their relaxers weren't selling off the shelves like they were in the past. So they said, oh shoot, we need to still be able to make money off of Black women, especially the Black women who have billion-dollar buying power. The closest possible thing you could get to a Eurocentric standard of beauty, but make it natural hair. Because corporations said, if we're gonna make money off of you, we're still going to create a standard that is unattainable, and it needs to be unattainable because we have to figure out a way to make you keep buying our products. That's marketing 101. If I can get your product and automatically get what I need to get, that's a one-time purchase. But if I create an unattainable standard of beauty, then you're gonna continue buying in the hopes that your hair will one day look like hers. So I want us to acknowledge capitalism is what failed us. Okay, so that's my little 2 cents on that. Now let's talk about the natural hair community is toxic, because the main sentiments that I hear when I hear people say the natural hair community is toxic is that you have discouraged people from getting their hair relaxed under the guise that natural hair is easier, and then when they finally get to the natural hair side, you find out that there are so many rules and regulations that people want you to follow. I've heard that before. Natural hair community is toxic because we can never agree on anything, or people just policing what other people can do with their hair. I've heard that YouTubers are to blame for all the things that are wrong with the natural hair movement and natural hair community. I've heard it all. There are so many rules that seem to exist in order to do natural hair right or to do it correct. It can be so intimidating, y'all. The way that we do wash and goes, the amount of products that we recommend to people, the whole product junkie era, buying every single product that you see other people use because you think it's gonna make your hair look like their hair. I absolutely think that it's incredibly daunting. You don't have to do those things. And a lot of people feel like they have to do those things in order to be natural or to do their natural hair correctly. If they're not doing those things, then people are chastising them for it, and it do be happening. And it's just like, well, this is not easy at all. I think this new era of the natural hair community and the natural hair movement is saying that your natural hair can actually be very easy. Your wash days don't actually have to be full wash days. Oh yeah, let's talk about that. And I will 100, 1000, 1,000,000% agree with the idea that we've overcomplicated natural hair. Even the idea of a wash day and telling people that it takes us an entire day to wash and to deal with our hair. We're inadvertently calling our hair unmanageable, right? We're saying that it's so hard to deal with, which is not true. It's not inherently true. We've just made it that way. Again, I'm somebody who bought into that as well. I'm like, oh, wash day takes me like 3 days. Oh, it takes me forever to do my hair. And that was because I was doing what I was seeing other people do on the internet, of course. And I hadn't really stopped to take the time to figure out what works specifically for me. But once I took that time out, I figured out that no, I actually can get my wash day done in literally 30 minutes. Like, it does not take that long. So I absolutely agree that the natural hair community and specifically YouTubers have led people astray in thinking that their hair is very hard to deal with, it's very unmanageable, or it just takes a lot of work, a lot of energy, and a lot of money because you got to find the right products. I absolutely agree with that critique. I want to acknowledge this as well. A lot of people look to YouTubers as like the authorities on natural hair for a reason, because y'all wasn't doing natural hair in the early 2000s. Yes, I'm talking to all you cosmetologists, all you hairstylists. Y'all were not doing natural hair in the early 2000s. Y'all were the people perming people's hair in the early 2000s. So no, nobody came to look for you for natural hair guidance. They looked to the people who were getting it out the mud with their natural hair. A lot of revisionist history happening with the hairstylists that I really don't appreciate right now. I kind of talked about this in my other video about like the no oils, no butters things. I'll go ahead and link that above. But let's not forget the role that y'all played in this whole situation. Okay. So people look at YouTubers as the authority figures on natural hair because YouTube and the blogs are the reason that the natural hair movement exists. But what we must remember is that they were learning just like we are. They were literally coming onto the internet and documenting their journey, good, bad, and ugly, trial and error, but we accepted it as canon rather than saying, they're experimenting, and a lot of what happens in the natural hair community, a lot of the complications or the over complications of our natural hair is because, again, we were seeing people's trials and errors and accepting that as part of our journey when it was really just part of their journey. Hold on, let me go ahead and finish off my face and I'll be right back. If we're going to talk about who the natural hair movement really failed, type 4 hair, specifically 4C dark-skinned women who really were the forefront and the pioneers of the natural hair movement. There are so many things, so many different rhetorics that we hear about 4C hair that we really were working to combat with the existence of the natural hair movement. Are there individuals in any category that feel like the natural hair movement did not fail them? Absolutely. There are people who are testifying that their life will never be the same after going natural because they found so much self-love and self-identity and self-discovery. There will be individuals who will sing the praises of the natural hair movement, but we do also have to acknowledge the nuance in how the commodification and the commercialization of natural hair specifically played out and how it discouraged the authenticity that originally existed in the movement. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say in the comment section below. You absolutely can disagree. You absolutely can add nuance, add texture to my argument, to your argument, whatever. Just keep it cute. That's all I ask. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to hit that subscribe button. Also like this video so YouTube can share with other people. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.